So here we're trying to read a bill to understand what the bill's proposing to do. I have four main tips. The first is taking a look generally at what the bill proposal is. Remember that California bills can add a new section of statute, they can amend an existing statute, or they can repeal an existing statute. And I think that all bills clearly tell their readers what the bill is proposing to do. For example, it'll say an act to add section whatever to the Welfare and Institutions Code relating to foster care. So you can see right there that it is going to add. It could say add, it could say amend, it could say repeal, or a combination of that. And then, of course, there's the relating to clause relating to foster care. So the reader is told three main things in this initial section of the bill, and that is it's a new law being added, where it's being added, and in what code, and then, of course, the topic, the relating to clause. Then, as you read further, you come across the Legislative Council's digest. And that digest provides a brief, unbiased summary of both existing law. In other words, what does state law in this area actually provide? And then what does this bill propose to do? Now, both of these provisions are clearly set forth for the reader. The opening paragraph is existing law does the following. And then the next paragraph is this bill would. So again, the Ledge Council Digest provides in clear and unambiguous language an explanation that allows the reader to understand the subject matter of the bill and to kind of place it in context in the law. And then, of course, to understand what the bill is proposing to actually do. And so in these types of scenarios, the reader can easily ascertain, okay, what's the existing law? So that puts things in perspective. And then what exactly is this bill proposing to do? Then, of course, the third item is you're going to turn to the actual substantive provisions of the bill. So now that you have a general idea of what the existing law is, what the bill is proposing to do, you can turn your attention to the actual statutory language. Now, in reading a bill's provisions, you want to generally, at least initially, scan the language to get a sense of what's taking place. Are there words like may, which is permissive, or shall is mandatory? Who are the main actors or actor being affected? And what are they supposed to do or they're prohibited to do? Usually at the beginning of a bill, there will be some definitions. So that'll help give you a clear guidance to determine the scope of the bill's provisions. And after that initial scan, you're going to come back and read for a better, more comprehensive understanding. So, what new language is being added or what language is being amended, right? There might be a few changes in words, but in other bills, there are many pages. It goes on and on. So remember that the words in italics, and you can see them in blue color italics on the internet, and repeal language is strike through. It's red strike through on the internet. Note for any new language, it doesn't change into italics or otherwise if it's an entirely new section in the introduced version. The fourth thing, again, from my perspective, is whether or not the bill's got any unique provisions. These are often found at the end of the bill in what Ledge Counsel sometimes refers to as plus sections. Now, this can describe that the bill is a special or local statute instead of a general statute. Whether there's a state mandated local program, is it an urgency statute? You might also look for, is there a delayed operative date when those provisions actually become operative? Is there a sunset date that it'll be repealed after a certain set of time? So those are some of the additional or unique provisions that you may want to check out. The other thing is that sometimes, usually at the beginning of the bill, most often section one of the bill in uncodified language, is perhaps some intent statements. It's the intent of the legislature or some legislative findings and declarations. So again, this is my version of a four-part approach to how to read a bill to gain a better understanding of what that bill is trying to do.